Everyone has a favorite meal, but have you ever thought of where that meal might have come from? Do you think it might have come from the floor or from a nice clean factory? Well, the truth is, it probably didn't come from either. The way we produce and consume our food today has many negative impacts on the environment, from being bad for human consumption to pollution to the excessive waste that we produce. The way that we consume and produce our food today has to change. In America, there's two general types of food consumers. There's those that eat mainly a plant-based diet, and there's those type of people that settle for the processed foods and meats. Let's start off with the negative effects of processed foods on our environment. One of the major impacts of eating processed foods is the detrimental effects it has on your body. From heart disease and cancers, a lot of these processed foods play a major role in contributing to the contraction of these diseases. Another major impact that processed food production has on our environment is pollution. If you've never thought about where your processed food comes from, it likely comes from a factory that runs electricity and engines all day long, pumping fumes and gases into the air that surrounds the factory. After the food leaves the factory, it'll go onto a big diesel truck like this, and these trucks will drive all over the country, emitting fumes and emissions everywhere they go, just to get your food to where it needs to be. After you get your food and it's consumed, unfortunately many times the packaging that your food comes in ends up on the ground like you see here. This is bad for the environment because it can choke animals, it pollutes our waterways, and it generally decreases the beauty of our beautiful communities. If you're not someone that consumes processed foods or meat, you're likely on a plant-based diet. And while that's slightly better for the environment, it's still not totally perfect. Let's use tofu as an example. In order to grow tofu, you need beans. In order to grow these beans, you need to cut down an entire forest, the home of all types of animals and plants, to grow the crops that you need to make the tofu. And in order to protect those crops, you need to kill every snake, rabbit, fox, mole, vole, bird, bunny, mouse, anything that will eat that crop. If anything survives that first onslaught, the farmer will then come in and poison anything else that survives. This is bad for the environment because when it rains, that pesticide will go from the crop fields and fall into our streams. These streams are the streams that we drink out of, animals drink out of, all the plants that feed off the water. All this is affected by the pesticides that comes from the field that the beans are used to grow the tofu so that you don't have to eat animals' meat. After the beans are harvested, they're made into the tofu, put into plastic packaging, and loaded onto big diesel trucks, just like the processed foods. These trucks drive all over the country, emitting their noxious fumes and destroying our environment. I know I've laid out a lot of problems here, but there is a solution. The best, most sustainable way to consume food in America is by hunting and growing your own food. When you hunt for your food, you're only killing one animal with one bullet in a quick and painless fashion. After this deer is processed, you can feed your family of four for months, literally months on end, with the meat that you get from just one deer. Also, any excess meat that you have can be donated to a local government food bank to support families in need that might not be able to hunt for themselves. If you don't like to hunt, you can grow your own food, and this is good for many reasons. One main reason being there's no packaging for your food to get put into, so there's no packaging to get put into a landfill or fall into a stream. Also, you don't have to put your food on a big diesel truck, so there's no emitting emissions all over the country. It goes right from your backyard or your garden right to your table. Very good for the environment. Also, there's no pesticides for a large-scale farming operation, so you're not polluting the groundwater, and you're also not killing cute, furry little critters that would otherwise live in a forest where the farm would be.